You're Free to Go is sponsored by Milburn Men's Clothing, where top athletes shop for sharp, tailored style. And whether Mark and I are in the studio or the courtroom, Milburn dresses us for success. Mention YFTG and get 10% off at Milburn Men's Clothing, which has been providing the finest in men's clothing and suits since 1946. Call 651-645-2922 or visit www.milburn.com.
Guy, you remember how we talked about every time we sit down with people, either we're out to dinner, we're at a dinner table, or we're friends, and they start asking us questions about our cases. We start telling them about our most interesting cases, and they just go wild for it.
It's literally every single time we go out, Mark, that happens. Inevitably, the entire conversation turns to us and, hey, tell me about that case, and why did that judge do that, and what was your client thinking? It's what happens every single time we're out with friends in a professional setting. How about the times we go to cigar bars and there's 20 people sitting around smoking their cigars, and what do they all want to talk about? Us and our cases.
I know, and sometimes we don't even want to talk about them, but we do talk about them. But the fact is, we were thinking, you and I were talking about, why are we just limiting it to those people? Why don't we share this with a much wider audience?
I agree. And although maybe on the podcast we won't see the audience's jaw dropping like we do when we talk to them in person,
right,
when they literally drop their jaw to the ground and can't believe what's really going on behind the scenes in these crazy cases, it is right. We got to share it with these people.
We got to share it because it's amazing. Some of these stories I still don't believe, and I was part of them.
Right. And, we've seen it all, and then we get a new case and say, I thought I had seen it all, and we really hadn't. And literally after, 70 plus years between the two of us of practicing.
Actually, it's 80, but we don't want to date ourselves.
Good point there. Well, talking about dating ourselves, how about when we first met? You remember that case?
Yeah, I was representing somebody in a case involving a pill mill, a bunch of different clinics, and you also got hired on the case. And we immediately fell in love working together.
It was great. Yeah, when he came to me and told me who was already representing him, I at first said, you don't need another lawyer. You've got the best of the best. Literally, that's the respect I've always had for you. But I was so excited when he said, yeah, but I want to bring a second attorney on the case.
Yeah, it was great. You remember when we were looking at evidence and then all of a sudden we discovered the evidence room had a infestation of brown recluse spiders.
Yeah, they're
and it
killers.
was shut down for months, and the judge wanted us to go, and we said, no, we'd rather go to jail than die.
Yeah. And he really kept the pressure on us. You got to go. You got to go. The case was getting older and older and older.
I think that case was 5 years old by the time we tried it, right?
Yeah, so we finally get there 5 years later. They still have the spiders allegedly been cleaned up. You remember what the prosecutor did the whole time we were looking through the files?
He was sitting on a chaise lounge.
Yeah, it was like he was at the
sunning
beach.
himself.
Yeah, that guy's now a federal prosecutor, by the way.
Well, we don't want to say anything about that. No, he was a great guy, actually.
Yeah, really good guy, and we got through all the files, and we went to trial on that case.
Yeah, and so we've been working together ever since.
Yeah, with you in California, and I'm in Florida, and it's just been a great relationship.
And we've had cases all over the country, and a lot of experience, and a lot of really crazy cases, a lot of things that people are going to really find hard to believe, but they are true, and we're going to share them with a larger audience now because we think they deserve it, and we're going to enjoy doing it.
Right. It's all the things that you don't see in the news. You'll often hear on the news about the arrest, and they put our clients in the worst light. And then there's never, ever a follow-up report about that case. But there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and we're going to share with our audience all of that from A to Z and let them really hear what really happens in a criminal case. Most people have no idea. They see a criminal case in a movie or on the news, they hear about it, but they really don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and that's where we come in. We've been in the trenches. We've fought these battles for our clients. We've gotten to know our clients on personal levels, as a friend, in a professional capacity, as a client defendant, and we're going to be able to share all of that with the audience that they've never heard from.
That's right. And, there are things that go on TV and the movies that just isn't real. One of the things I always like to tell people about is how when you see in a movie or on TV, the judge is always banging the gavel. I've tried over 250 cases throughout the United States. I have never seen a judge ever bang a gavel.
Never. No, it doesn't happen.
It never happens. The only time they have gavels is for ceremonial things.
I was just going to say, they have them on their desk for a ceremonial, or it has the date that they became a judge, but they never ever use it. We've seen a lot of other stuff judges do, like falling asleep on the bench, snoring and things like that, but I've never seen them hit a gavel.
Right.
Although, you talk about like these great movies you see. How about My Cousin Vinny?
Oh, it's a great movie.
Classic, my favorite.
Right.
As originally as a prosecutor and then becoming a defense lawyer 5 years into practicing law. I always love that movie to this day. It's the best. You're Free to Go is sponsored by Lang Realty, South Florida's premier residential real estate broker. Whether you're buying, selling, or renting a home or condo, Lang's experienced realtors are standing by ready to help you. Contact one of Lang's top realtors today at 561-703-2427.
And the beauty of what we're going to tell people about is that we've handled a wide range of cases, from celebrities to mobsters to drug dealers to Ponzi schemers. And it's really amazing how some of these cases actually progressed. Yeah,
and we've been lucky, the two of us. We've had some really, really high-profile cases. But when we look at our thousands of cases that we've had over our career, it's really, 2 to 3% of them that have been high-profile, which means there's 97% of our clients, approximately, that no one ever knows. And they don't realize how much it affects their life, how it just can really destroy their livelihood, their families. And it's a trickle-down effect, and we're going to be able to share that with our audience, really how significant an arrest can be on someone's life, and the fact that there are a lot of cases where just because someone was arrested doesn't mean they're guilty. Maybe they're not guilty of the charges they were, charged with. And the reason why everyone has a right to a defense, we're going to get to express that, because a lot of people don't understand when they hear what we do. They say, wow, how can you defend someone like a Jeff Epstein who's guilty of, having sexual relations with minors? That's horrible. How could you do that? Well, they're going to hear from us why we do it, how we do it. And then I guarantee you they're going to walk away from our conversations on this podcast and say, now we get it. If God forbid I'm ever in trouble or my loved one is in trouble, I understand the
because
importance.
we represent them, because you could be next.
That's right.
We got to keep that system honest.
100%. And this is what we're going to be talking about, once a week at least with our audience, which I'm really excited to do, not only with you, but to for the world, to share our message with everybody and these true stories that are from real attorneys and their real cases.
Well, we're going to be also talking about the interesting connection between the Epstein case that you were involved in and the Rothstein case, the multi-billion-dollar Ponzi schemer here in Florida that I represented, and that how those cases intersected in a very unique way. And we're going to be telling the audience about that in our first episode.
Which I can guarantee you no one's ever heard of or made this connection. So that's what's to come, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for that.
Really. So we'd like you to just like, subscribe, and follow along with us. And until then, you're free to go.
Down Low Investigations is a sponsor of You're Free to Go. Behind every great criminal defense attorney is a great private investigator. That's why Mark and I use Down Low to investigate cases all over the country. Down Low can help you too, whether you're running a background check on an employee or running a background check on a blind date, or let's say you need someone followed or some other type of investigative work conducted. Down Low is the way to go. Call Download Investigations at 561-843-1806. Everything expressed and discussed in this episode are the opinions and experiences of attorneys Guy Fronstin and Mark Nurik and their guests. All ethical rules are complied with. Attorney-client privilege and confidential information is not shared or released during these episodes, and names, dates, locations, and other identifying information may be changed to protect confidentiality. Topics are embellished, and none of the statements made constitute legal advice and should not be considered or relied on as such.